What's up, guys? Hardcore Horror Nerd here, and I'm back. It's a new year, so I'm going to start making new videos. And in today's video, I'm going to do what I usually do, my pickups. And I'm also going to do a little short Q&A. I posted a picture on Instagram yesterday, kind of like a little experiment. Didn't go too well, but I did get some questions to answer, so I will be answering those. But let's start with the pickups and what I've been doing lately. Just lately I've been collecting a lot of movies, and or I wouldn't say a lot, a good amount of movies. And I've been going to see some more movies. During my little hiatus here on YouTube, I went to go see one of my favorite movies of 2014, which was Gone Girl. And another favorite of mine, which I'm so happy I got to see in theaters, was Kevin Smith's Tusk. And that movie was just amazing. And I saw, after reading a lot of like horror blogs and stuff, that it made the worst of the best and worst of 2014 lists. And I guess I can see where those people are, where they're coming from. Maybe it's because I'm a Kevin Smith fanboy that I enjoyed it so much. But I also felt like people didn't really understand the concept or where he was going with it, or just didn't really care about the concept, and so that's why they didn't get the movie. And then it was also, I feel, mismarketed as a comedy because Kevin Smith directed it, when in actuality it was a horror movie. Anyway, so that's that. Let's get started. First up is Mad Max on VHS. I know the Mad Max Fury Road is coming out May 15th, I believe. And I've never actually seen the Mad Max films, so I saw these at Goodwill and I decided to pick them up so I can, and I think a couple of them are on Netflix, maybe not anymore because Netflix has been taking a lot off. But I want to watch all the Mad Maxes before I go see Fury Road, because Fury Road looks pretty badass. So I want to see all the Mad Maxes before I go see the new one. That way I can understand if they continue the story or anything like that. Next up is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome on VHS. Again, one I've never seen. Wanted to see before I go see Mad Max Fury Road. Next up, I bought this from a guy on Instagram. He's a really cool guy. And I was just looking for it because my friend told me, hey, you need to watch this movie. And if you're going to watch it, you should do it on VHS because it's one of those VHS type movies where it's better on VHS. So I was looking and I found it on eBay, but people wanted like a ridiculous amount for it. So then I found a guy selling it on Instagram and I bought it from him. I'm so happy I bought it, and I watched it the day I got it. And it was a really good movie. Very, very awesome twist ending. And that movie is Sleepaway Camp, and I'm not going to ruin it because I don't know how many people have seen it. And if you've seen it, you know what I mean by the twist ending. But holy crap, that was just like, what just happened? Like, I was completely surprised. And the thing was, is I kind of knew what was going to happen at the end, mainly because it was spoiled for me on Instagram, and I've read about it a couple times, so I kind of knew the ending and what it was. But knowing it and seeing it is two different things. And when I saw it, I was completely like shocked and like in awe, and I was like, oh God, that really just happened. And now I'm interested. I know Scream Factory has the Blu-ray for this, and I believe they are actually going to release the Blu-rays for the sequels. I may be wrong on that, but I swear I read something about it. So I might pick those up soon, eventually, maybe. I don't know. Next up is Monkey Shrines. It's a George Romero film, I do believe. Yes, George Romero. I haven't seen it, but judging by the back cover, it looks like a monkey's going to kill some people. And the front cover, so I'm pretty interested to see it now because what an awesome concept. Next up is 22 Jump Street, the Target exclusive Steelbook. Here's the front, Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, 22, the beginning scene where they're shooting off their guns. The back, it's basically the scene from Spring Break. And the inside is just selfies of them, basically. But yeah, a really awesome, sleek steelbook. I'm really glad to see America give more steelbooks. A lot of the cooler ones are still over in the UK and overseas like that, which really bums me out because I really like some of those designs better than the American designs. And I'm hoping 2015 is going to be the year that we get a ton more steelbook designs and the cooler Steelbook designs. Don't get me wrong, the American Steelbooks are cool, and I'm really glad that Best Buy is finally selling the Drive Steelbook, which is something that's been over in the UK for a while. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get a lot more awesome, cool Steelbooks this year. Next up is one of my favorite shows of 2014, and that is Fargo, the complete first season on Blu-ray. This is the TV show, not the movie. Really awesome TV show, a little bit of a prequel to the movie, not so much. There's connections here and there. And what I really liked about this particular Blu-ray is it came with this awesome Fargo beanie. Probably one of the coolest things to come with a movie or anything like that. So yeah, if you haven't seen the series yet, check it out. Really awesome. I believe there was 13 episodes maybe, but really awesome season. And yes, they are bringing it back this year. It's going to be like American Horror Story, where it's an anthology series, so everything's going to be different every season. And I'm really happy they are bringing it back. Next up, Tusk Blu-ray. Again, love this movie. So glad I got to see it in theaters. It was well worth seeing it in theaters. It was my first Kevin Smith movie in theaters, but just an awesome movie. Michael Parks gives the creepiest performance in the world in this, and I just don't know what else. Johnny Depp. Sorry to ruin it for you guys, but Johnny Depp is in it. Johnny Depp is the best part of the entire movie, I think. Next to Michael Parks. Michael Parks is amazing, but Johnny Depp's Guy de la Pont character is probably the coolest thing, the coolest thing Johnny Depp has done for me. I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan. And also, he is going to be in Yoga Hosers, which comes out June or July of this year, which after that gets released, Kevin Smith is going to start filming Clerks 3, which I'm super happy about. Hoping he comes to Atlanta with it, because it'd be awesome to see him film it here in Atlanta. But yeah, Tusk, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Don't read anything about it, all the negative or even positive. Just gut. And if you already have, and you decided you don't want to see it, but then you've changed your mind and you do want to see it, just go in with an open mind. You may like it, may not. It's not for everyone, but it is still a really solid film, and I think the best horror film to come out in 2014, because it is original, and we haven't had a lot of original horror in a long time. Next up, another Steelbook. This one's from Best Buy. It is The Big Lebowski. I recently watched this film for the first time a few weeks ago, and I really liked it. Jeff Bridges, awesome dude. The dude. Anyway, so yeah, really awesome movie, and just a really sleek design for the Steelbook. Next up is one of my favorite indie releases of 2014, and that was Wish I Was Here. It is Zach Braff's, I guess you could say, sequel kind of thing to Garden State. He crowdfunded it like they did with the Veronica Mars movie. It was just a really funny and sad film, but even when it was sad, they didn't keep it sad for very long, and they made it funny again, which Zach Braff has a really awesome mind when it comes to directing. For me, he'll always be JD on Scrubs, but Garden State and this movie were really good. And I have to say, one of my favorite lines in this was when Kate Hudson's character comes home and she goes, "Why did you duct tape the kids?" And Zach Braff's answer was just, "They wouldn't listen." It was a really funny movie. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Again, it's not for everyone. I know it's gotten okay-ish reviews, but I don't listen to reviews. I don't think reviewers know what they're talking about, really. That's just me. Next up is one of the best movies of 2014, and that is Chef on Blu-ray. Jon Favreau, he directed Iron Man 1 and 2. It's Jon Favreau. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he wanted to go back to his indie film roots and make a movie about a chef. So he wrote, directed, and produced Chef. It's about a guy who plays a chef, John Fargo, and he's very inventive with his food. He's tired of cooking the same stuff, so he tries to cook something different. It doesn't work out for him. He gets fired from his very high-paying chef job, and then goes in to find the critic that basically was the root of him getting fired, and scream at him and yell at him and call him trash because he gave him a trashy review. Went viral on the internet, and then ended up opening his own food truck and driving around the U.S. selling Cuban sandwiches out of his food, and then whatever other food items they picked up within each city that they visited. It's a really awesome, fun-loving film. It's not very sad. It's mostly comedy, and just a very heartwarming film. I highly suggest you check this out. Next up is Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. I watched this for the first time last week. A very confusing film for me. I need to rewatch it. It was really good. Kind of bummed out that I kind of already knew the ending. But a really good film. And the one thing that most people should know about this movie is this is that movie that caused the guy to try to assassinate Reagan because of Jodie Foster. But whatever. Next up is another Steelbook. Oh yes, this is also a Steelbook. It's the Pop Art collection from Best Buy. Pretty awesome design, I think. Just your blue cars on the back and nothing inside, but really awesome, sleek design like the rest of my Steelbooks. Next up, final Steelbook is Francis Ford Coppola presents Apocalypse Now. This includes both the Apocalypse Now like theatrical and director's cut. I've never seen this movie. I have it on VHS. I bought it a long time ago. Still haven't watched it. But again, really awesome Steelbook design. Cannot wait to check this out. You got Marlon Brando on the back here. And inside you have pictures of some of the war scenes. So yeah, I'm really excited to check this out. I think I'm going to devote an entire day to watching both versions to see the difference between them. Next up is, and I'm sure everyone who's made a YouTube video about it, you've already seen it by now, but I still like to show it off. It is the Halloween box set. I'm just going to quickly go over this because, like I said, I'm sure you've seen hundreds of videos by now about this one particular item. So in it you got Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 2 remakes. During the month of October, I watched all of them. Yes, including the remakes, which I don't know why I did, but it was just what I had to do. And they do stand up pretty well. I still do not like Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 or Halloween 2. They're terrible movies for me. But excluding those, 1 through 8 are really, really good. You got this interesting booklet, and I believe it's about the history of the franchise throughout the 8 years. And just this really cool box design. There is a smaller version. The thing with this version, it's 15 discs, and that has Halloween 1 in both theatrical and television, Halloween 2 in both theatrical and television, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, in both the theatrical and the highly coveted producer's cut, which I watched both versions back to back, and the producer's cut is a way better film, way better. And then Halloween 1 by Rob Zombie, the remake, it comes in the director's cut, and same with the Halloween 2. Also with Halloween 1's Rob Zombie's version, you have there's a separate second disc in there for like a 4-hour documentary on making the movie. And then in the Halloween 2 case, you have some extra bonus features. This is 15 discs with some really cool art designs on it. And then there's also a 10-disc version that's a cheaper version. Alright, next I'm going to move on to my new favorite thing to collect. And in my last video that I did, I showed off a couple that I got at that time. And I've collected more, and that is some vinyl. Now, I just and I branched out from just soundtracks to now I'm collecting like bands and music that I like. So first up is Metallica's and Justice for All. Um, I found this really awesome record shop right down the street from me. That way I don't have to go downtown anymore, but really awesome record shop. The guy was really fun to talk to, and just so glad I found this because I have been looking for this one particular album for such a long time because it is my favorite Metallica album, and I spun it the other night. Really beautiful album, and yeah. There is nothing special about this. It's your typical black vinyl. Nothing really special like color-wise. Next up is a death metal band, or I should say alien core, called Rings of Saturn. This is Lugo Cayenne, and it is a gatefold with some killer artwork. Like this thing is just, the artwork on this alone is just really amazing and beautiful. This is their third album, and the really fun thing I like about this particular record is, if I can get it out, the vinyl itself is really awesome, like splattered tie-dye kind of paint style. Check that out. It's really awesome. If you're a fan of like technical death metal and just death metal in general, or you like to discover new types of metal, check out Rings of Saturn. Next up is one of the best death metal bands ever. It's Cannibal Corpse. This is their latest album called... Dude, I forgot what this is called. Oh, A Skeletal Domain. This Cannibal Corpse does release all their vinyls, I do believe, on picture discs. So here's side one. It is the album cover for A Skeletal Domain. And then side two is a picture of the band with the track listings. Spins really well, sounds amazing. One of my favorite albums of 2014. Next up is one of my favorite musicians. He's a horror punk artist. His name is Wednesday 13. Like I said, horror punk. He's a really big horror movie fan. And record in particular is his one that came out in 2013, and he released, I'm sorry, 2012, and he released a vinyl in 2013 on Record Day. And the thing about that vinyl was it's really rare. There was only 500 made, and it was on a gray vinyl, and I happened to get it. So I'm really awesome I got to score this really rare record. Next up is another favorite of mine for 2014. That is Sonic Highways by the Foo Fighters. Basically, it's an 8-song album. Each song was recorded in a different city. They did Texas, Nashville, Hollywood, Seattle, DC. I forget where else. But really awesome album. I really love the concept behind it. And it's a gatefold too. So here's some pictures of the production going on. One of my favorite songs is I Am a River. It's the final song. It's just a really awesome song. Next up is one of the best rap albums ever made. It's Paul's Boutique by the Beastie Boys. This is beyond a gatefold. This is like a quadruple fold. So, creates the entire like city. I'm assuming that's Brooklyn because that's where the Beastie Boys are from. But really awesome album. Love this album. Nothing special about the vinyl other than the fact that it's a really awesome vinyl. Next up is NWA Straight Outta Compton 20th Anniversary Edition. Love this album. This is probably one of the greatest rap albums ever, next to the Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique. But really awesome album. This is the 20th Anniversary Edition. It is a double LP, and then it also has the bonus tracks on it that are made by different artists, which are like Snoop Dogg's Bone Thugs and Harmony in Mac 10. Next up is one of my favorite movies by Kevin Smith. I'm assuming you can figure out what it is. They did reissue the soundtrack this year, or I guess last year now, and I happened to order it, and that is Clerks on vinyl. And the cool thing about this vinyl is it's clear with black smoke inside. The other variant edition was one black vinyl and one white vinyl. But I like this one, I just really liked more. It is a gatefold, and inside it tells you all the songs. You got Clerks here, and you got the movie cover here with Dante, Silent Bob, Randall, Veronica, and forget the other girl's name. One of my favorite songs on it is the Chewbacca song that you kind of hear in the background in one of the scenes. But hey, it's the Chewbacca song. You know what I'm talking about? Cool. Next up is another favorite movie of mine on vinyl. It is Ghostbusters. This is the Hot Topic exclusive 30th anniversary edition, which means it is a Slimer green vinyl. It's transparent, green, really awesome vinyl. It does have the Ghostbusters, theme song, who you gonna call that one. I do know they reissued just the theme song alone last year on a white vinyl that smells like marshmallows and comes in a Stay Puft package, which I find really cool. But it's also super expensive, so I'm gonna pass on that. Next up is a really awesome Ty West film, all about the satanic panic kind of era, and that is The House of the Devil. Really creepy and like haunting music, but almost in a beautiful way. This is from Death Waltz Records, and it comes on the solid red, like blood red almost kind of vinyl. Really awesome record to spin. Really, really creepy music. But like I said, really creepy yet really beautiful. Next up is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch on vinyl from Death Waltz Records. And this comes in an orange, solid orange record. It has every 7 more days till Halloween kind of song. The like little jingle, the Silver Shamrock jingle. Yeah, it has every one of those on here throughout the record, and it ends on the Halloween one. And John Carpenter just does amazing scores for his films. And he is releasing his own vinyl this year called John Carpenter's The Lost Scores. And I'm so excited to get it because it's just a bunch of themes that he's been working on, but doesn't have a movie for it. And he released one song in particular called Vortex. And within that song alone, I was able to pick up little notes from Escape from New York, Salt and Precinct 13, and The Fog, all in that one little song. So I'm really excited to check out more and see what it is. All right, that was all my pickups. Now for the Q&A. Like I said, I posted on Instagram, kind of a little experiment. Didn't really go as well as I hoped it went, but I did get some interesting questions. The first question was, what is your favorite like ghost horror movie? That one was really hard to think of because I'm not much of a paranormal fan, and I don't like watching paranormal movies because I find it hard for me to sleep for some reason. But if I had to pick one movie, paranormal related, that really interested me, it's one I saw when I was really young. It was called Changeling, or The Changeling. I don't remember the title, but it was about a guy, his family died in a car crash, so he moves into this house, and I guess the spirits of his wife and his daughter follow him. I don't really remember much about it other than like when the climax of the film happened, you could see the stage guy like shaking the chandelier that's supposed to be moving because of ghosts. And there was also like a ball that was his daughter's favorite ball, and one time he went and threw it in the lake, came back in, walked into the door, and the ball is falling down the stairs. That just one image of the ball falling down the stairs haunted me for like months as a kid, and I really liked it. Really good movie. I wish I could find it again. It's one of those ones I do want to get on VHS, or one that I really hope they re-release onto a Blu-ray. Either way, I'm going to try to get it. I know it's a really kind of like sought after movie, so it's kind of hard to find. Question number 2 was, how old were you when you started collecting horror movies? Believe it or not, I was only 19 when I started collecting horror movies. I've always been a movie fan. I've always been a horror movie fan, but I never really had the desire to collect things. And then one day I found the Scream Factory version of Halloween 2 on regular DVD, and just from there I decided to start. And I don't do the blog anymore, and I'm thinking about starting it this year. But there I started to do the blog, and then I started Instagramming my movies more, and then I created my YouTube channel. And so from there I just kept collecting and collecting, and here I am about to turn 22 years old next month, and I have maybe 100 plus movies within 3 years, which I find amazing. Um, Lots of VHS, and of course my vinyl collection. The next question I got was, what was your first horror movie and what was the scariest part about it? My first horror movie, and I've said this several times before, I believe in other videos, was Halloween H20, 20 years later. Um, I guess nothing really scared me about that movie. It was more of, I was interested in finding out the other story that developed into that one movie. So I was more interested in finding out who Michael Myers was and how the series got developed. So nothing really scared me about that movie. Maybe LL Cool J's acting in it. But other than that, that was my first horror movie, and I still enjoy it to this day. And I do believe it will stay as one of my favorite slasher films for the rest of my life because it is my first. And then the final question I got from a friend, this question was near impossible to answer, and I had to think about it for a while. And I still don't know if I'm really 100% sure on this answer, but the question was, if you could work with any director in a horror movie, who would it be and why? And I sat there and I thought about it, and I have two answers for this question. Number one would be, I think I would work with Kevin Smith just because he looks like a fun guy to work with. I would have fun working with him. And he just, his passion shines through all of his work. Like Tusk, for example, and I know I've been throwing this out there a lot, but I'm a really big fan of Tusk. But Tusk was his modern day update to Clerks, basically, because back 20 years ago when Clerks came out, he had this idea of a movie about him and his friends just sitting around and talking. And one day he said, Kevin, unless someone is gonna, he said, Kevin, if you're not gonna make this movie, no one's gonna make it. So you know what he did? He made Clerks. And then, flash forward 20 years, he's reading an internet post on his Smodcast podcast show. And again, that light bulb went off in his head, and he said, Kevin, if you're not going to make this dopey walrus movie, no one is. So you know what he did? He went and sought out and made Tusk. So I think I would work with Kevin Smith just because of his passion and how much it shines through. But at the same time, I don't think I would want to work with a big director that I admire so much because, A, I don't want, they've already influenced me enough to either make a movie or come up with ideas for a movie. And I feel like if I keep going on with that idea, or if I keep going with them, then their influence that they already have on me is going to influence me more and change what I want to do with my movie. And so that's a really tough question to answer, and I hope I answered it like the way that it should be answered, I guess I can say. But yeah, so thanks for the questions, for the people who asked me the questions on Instagram. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Hardcore Horror Nerd. Be checking here throughout the next couple months. Some big things are happening. One thing is next month, February 21st through the 22nd, I'm going to Walker Stalker Con in Chicago, Illinois. So excited for this. I'm not going to be going to Days of the Dead this weekend, or not this weekend, this month, or this year, because I actually have to get my wisdom teeth removed the day before the convention starts. But I was able to wait a couple more weeks and go to Walker Stalker Con in Chicago, so I'm so excited about that. So far the guest announcements have been Chandler Riggs, Michael Cutlitz, Chad Coleman, Melissa McBride, so many people. Gus from Breaking Bad is going to be there. Also, Walt Jr. from Breaking Bad is going to be there. I believe his name's R.J. Mitty or something like that. Really awesome. I'm probably going to buy like a VIP ticket to meet someone, like to have a special photo op or something like that. And I'm hoping Norman Reedus or Andrew Lincoln come, because those are the two I really want to like have a VIP with. And if I really had to choose, I'd probably go Andrew Lincoln, because I knew Andrew Lincoln before he was Rick. It was Love Actually. I've been watching that movie since I was 10 years old with my parents. Really awesome, kind of funny movie. So it'd be awesome to meet him and not talk about The Walking Dead. Talk about something else he did. I always find that cool. Anyway, so like I said, as always, you can follow me on Instagram at Hardcore Horror Nerd. I will get better at making movies this year. So stay tuned, because I have a feeling this year is going to be very interesting on my YouTube channel.